Hello everyone, welcome back to SkySaga Alpha 4. We're currently standing here on the SheepBall home island. So this is a community island that's going to be built up to have a whole bunch of mini games and of course 3 SheepBall stadiums out back here somewhere. This island is just starting to be worked on, so today we're actually going to build a brand new landing area for this place and hopefully put in the first minigame. We're also going to get out there and get some more material so that we can build really good armor and weapons, because at the moment we're kind of lacking. First things first though, we need a fair amount more material, so I'm going to jump into a white world and we're going to collect up a whole bunch of snow and brownstone and green stone. So I'm going to time lapse all that for you and then we'll be right back. And we are back. So that took quite a long time. Half of those materials are actually going to be for a brand new SheepBall stadium that we're going to build out kind of over the back this way, this kind of back right hand corner over here. Obviously there's a lot of island that we're going to have to clear out first, and then also that little floating island out over there. But for the moment there's been some scaffolding put up to mark the center of the island, so the airship is now currently slap bang in the middle of this area. So what we want to do is actually build a little bit of a courtyard up around here, just a nice little area, maybe some tables and chairs. We can't plant trees or plants or anything, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll keep the ones that are around, so these shrubs and things here are going to stay. I'm also going to build up a kind of wall around the outside and then section off the rest of this area so that we can build up some mini games and then the SheepBall stadiums over the back. So I'm going to grab some of the materials that I just mined out and we'll get started. So while I was out gathering up some material, some of the community have gone out and grabbed some materials for me as well. I will post all of their names down in the description of this video. I want to thank them so much. I have a lot of different bits and pieces in here, a lot of different colors of stone and sand and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be really, really useful for getting this island started and building some amazing things here. So we're going to grab up a little bit of brownstone because we need to build some paths to start with for this area. So I'm actually going to build some paths out from the centerpiece here, out 4 wide along each axis, and build them all the way out to the build limit, except for in this direction, because we are going to build a stadium back there, so it's not going to need to go quite that far. Alright, I will build all of this stuff up and I will be back with you. And there we go, the pathways are now in place and they extend out in all 3 directions to the very edge of the map. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start on this kind of courtyard area that I was talking about. So I've also cleared back a little bit of this hill that was up here, because we're going to build a courtyard area out to round about these lines here. So I'm just going to knock out all of this stone that we've got and fill all this back in with grass, and then we can actually start building up that wall that's going to be out there. And that is all done. So now we've got the grass in place and it's actually grown grass, which means we can build up these walls and get this place starting to look a little bit nicer. So the plan here is going to be to build these walls up to at least 4 high and then dome the entranceways. Something like this. And then each one of these will go out down each path, like so. And then we can build up a wall around everything else. So let's just double check the measurements on this. Yep. And there we go, all of these are now in place. So the next trick is going to be to build these walls up. I'm also going to build a little bit of a curve in the corners here, probably to match this little piece of curve that we've got going on down here, just to keep things kind of nice and neat. We're also going to put a bit of a swirly motif into the walls as well, because as you can see, this game kind of loves curves and coils and things. So we're going to build a couple of those into the wall as we go too. So I just want to work out where my corners are going to be. So that's going to be a corner there. So what we're going to do is going to put a block in here, pull that back across 3 before building out the rest of the wall here. So I'll just build this wall up pretty quickly. Go over here. 1, 2, 3. Get this wall going across over here as well. And then the outline on the map is a little bit obscured, so we might go over to this other corner and do the same thing. So not this corner because that's in the way, so we'll go over here. So that there is the corner, so we're going to go 2 blocks in. 1, 2, 3, like that, and then run across this way. Two, 3. And there you go, on the minimap you can kind of see what this corner is going to end up looking like. So that should be good. Okay, I'm going to start building these walls up and I will be right back. So I've started building up these walls and I'm just trying to decide what I want to actually put in them. So these 2 walls are the ones I did up first. I'm really keen on getting this kind of spiral motif going. So these ones had the joint spiral, one with the windstone as the spiral and skystone as the negative, and the other with the skystone as the spiral and the windstone as the negative. This one I really don't like because it connects too well with the rest of the wall, and so it looks like I've got this kind of ram's head image going on, and that's not what I'm after. I'm really after getting this spiral involved. And this one just appears too busy. Once again, you still kind of get this, like, because of the connection, it makes this ram's head feel more like what we're actually after. After I built those, I built these, and I think I like this a lot more. What I'm probably going to end up doing is moving this all the way over so it lines up with the door frame, or one back from the door frame, and then run this length of alabaster all the way down and potentially put a spiral into the corner or just a line up the wall somewhere. So I think that's the way I want to go with that. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you like either of these 2 designs? If so, I can actually, you know, come back here next episode, pull these things down, or pull these things down and try again. Alright, I'm going to grab some blocks and build the rest of this stuff up. And there we go, the walls are up. I'm actually really liking this design now, especially now that I've kind of connected it through the corner here, so that the corner 2 spirals kind of join together. It's really nice, I think. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Eventually, these blocks in here are going to be removed and replaced with corner pieces, because these look a little bit square and bulky right now, but I'm going to leave them in there until such time as I get the recipe or somebody else gets the recipe so that I can use that and put it in there. So this area is pretty good right now. We do need a few benches and tables and things, but I don't think I can craft too many of those right now. Yeah, see, I've got a basic bench, some chairs, and small wooden tables, so I don't have all that much stuff I can put out here right now. Might make up a few benches and stick them around the place, but for now I think we're actually going to be done with this area. So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to upgrade my weapons and armor. So right now we're using the explorer's armor and also this helmet that I found in a chest somewhere. So there are enemies out in the world that do drop recipes for Guardian's armor. I've already got one of those, so I can show you this in the Chronicle actually. So this here is the chest plate for the Guardian's armor, so I got this earlier by fighting one of these bosses. So I want to go out and collect all of the rest of the pieces of this armor, well, all the recipes for the rest of the pieces of this armor, and then enough of the rare metal called Abyssium to build up a full set of Abyssium Guardian armor. And also upgrade my swords, because we're still using these iron swords, which they're okay, but they're a little slow and they don't do quite as much damage as I would like. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to head out into a world and we're going to build a farm and trap one of these bosses in the farm and farm for as many of these things as we possibly can. So that was actually quite a lot of fun. I was farming for around about 2 hours and I ended up with 74 marks of the forest. So that's really good. I've also ended up with a whole bunch of recipes for each of the types of armor set. I've learnt all of these, so these are just spares that I'll potentially give away at some point in the future. I'd like to thank wazthatme for helping out while I was doing all that farming. It was awesome to have somebody else there to help soften the boss up a little bit. So the next thing, I actually want to build up a whole bunch of metal plates out of Abyssium. So to get Abyssium you need to take these marks of the forest and disassemble them down into ore. So I've got enough here for 2 full stacks of ore, so we definitely should have enough Abyssium to make up not only a full set of armor, but also some weapons as well, which is what I'm really looking forward to doing. So I'm going to dismantle all of this stuff and start crafting up some plates. While I do that, I want to show you another quick clip. Before I did most of my farming, I tried to set up an automatic farm using spring traps to kill the warlord without me having to do anything at all. Unfortunately, the warlord kind of got the better of us and started destroying the spring traps as he was jumping around on them. So while he did die, he ended up destroying, I think, 6 out of the 8 spring traps, and he also didn't drop anything when he died because nobody had damaged him. So it meant that automatic farming is definitely not a thing that we can really do, but it was quite funny to see this guy bouncing up and down. So I'll cut here, go to a clip of that, and I'll be back with you when we're making up some armor. Okay, and we're back. So it turns out that taking a full stack of Abyssium and turning it into plate is going to be just enough to do plate for the armor. So we're going to do Abyssium and Verdonite armor, and we're also going to build up some Abyssium swords. So we've got just enough to make 2 swords and the full set of armor. Also, while I'm here, I'd like to thank Shiro for his donation of this armor that I'm currently wearing, and also the scimitar. He gave those to me before I went out and did some farming, just to make the farming a little bit easier for me. So I'm actually going to go over here and start crafting the stuff up. So in armor, we've got a helmet. I'm going to go, like I said, all of the armor is going to be the green and the black, because I reckon this looks pretty damn awesome. So I am actually missing some small pieces. I just need to grab some leather to make up the chest plate, but for now we're going to throw together the boots. And we'll grab some leather strap as well. I'm going to make the leather strap out of green, just to kind of go with the same motif. And while we're doing that, these should craft up properly, and then we'll be able to put the chest plate on as well. So the helmet is almost done. As you can see, there's still a bit of a colouring glitch with the gloves. The weight that you put into the gloves doesn't actually really change the colour of them too well. So if I throw this helmet on and have a look, yeah, look at that, that looks really good. So it's going to look even better when we get the full set together, ready to go. So we've got our leather strap now, and we can actually put on the chest plate as well. So there you go, that's what it's going to end up looking like over here. Craft that up. And grab the boots and everything else, and we can put those on as well. And now we can put these swords in too while we're here. Black and white swords, those are going to look pretty awesome as well. And as I said, just enough plate to get everything we wanted done. So those are all going to craft up, and I will be back with you when they're done. And there we go, all done. So let's come over here and grab these and get fully kitted out. Let's find some better lighting, shall we? Let's head outside. And of course it's nighttime. So there you go, check it out. Fully up and running with a full set of Abyssium armor. So this is going to give us a lot more protection, and it's going to make running through some keystones quite a lot easier. Plus the Abyssium swords that we have, although they're somewhat slow, they also have the highest damage rating in the game. So I think I can deal with slow to do a lot more damage. We're going to hold on to these swords for right now. Eventually what I want to do is upgrade to daggers, but right now I have not got the recipe for those. So once I find the recipe, we're going to upgrade to Abyssium and Sunsteel daggers, I think. And Sunsteel is the new name for the gold ore from the last game. Okay, so now that we're fully equipped and ready to go, I think it's time to jump back over to the SheepBall Island, and we're going to build up another mini-game. Well, the very first mini-game over there. So I'll catch you on that island. And here we are on the SheepBall Island. So right now we're going to build a game at the back here, I think all the way down the other end of this path, called King of the Hill. So to do this we're going to need some sand, some alabaster, well, sorry, windstone, and some coral stone. We're going to make it very similar to the one that we built in the Alpha 4 pre-release, but we're just going to make this one a little bit bigger so we can have more than 2 people play on it at the same time. So we can grab a few materials. Should be enough of everything. I'm going to head back out here and start building this thing. So I want the lower ring of this thing to be 16 blocks in width. We'll have a diameter of 16 blocks, I guess I should say. So if we come all the way out here, there should be enough room just at the back of this island to build this game up. One thing I want to do first though is I want to build this area here up a little bit and kind of make a small hill so that it does actually become a game called King of the Hill. So I'm going to build this up, fill this in with some dirt and grass, and I will be back. And there we go, all built up. It doesn't really look like much at the moment, but once we've logged out and come back in and the grass is spawned all over it, it will look a lot better. Now I've also started digging a bit of a pit down in here, so the idea is that at the end of the game you'll actually fall all the way through the void and end up spawning back over in the middle of the island there. So I'm going to cut this pit, well I'm going to repair my pickaxes because these things are a little bit broken, and I'm going to cut this pit all the way down to the bottom of this floating island so that you can fall off into the void. So I'm going to do all of those things and then I will show you the result. And there we go, it is done. So now we've got a gigantic hole that you fall through once you've lost the game, which will make it a lot easier to work out who's winning or who has won the game and who has lost. So this hole is exactly 16 blocks in width, so we're actually going to have to build the next layer directly above the hole. So I'm going to build up a little bit of scaffolding and start putting in the next layer. So the plan here is to do one ring of size 16, and then a ring above that of size 14, and then above that of size 12, and above that of size 10. So we're going to do 4 layers in total. Only 3 of them are actually going to have sand though, because the top ring is going to be the entrance into the puzzle, well, into the game. And I keep messing up with this block placing, which is not good. 3 across, 1, and go 6 across here. 6 like so. We're also going to be building a staircase out of brown stone, the same thing we've got as our pathway. So we're going to go up and probably around to the outside, up to the top at the back of the smallest ring. And that's where people will start from. Okay, so you can see how this is going to go. I will be right back with you once I have filled in this ring. Okay, so with this ring made, we're now going to fill this whole thing in with sand, because this will be the surface that you destroy to try and knock your opponent out into the void for this game. Sand is quite nice for this because it can be destroyed one hit by stone pickaxes, or at least it could be in the Alpha 4 pre-release. I haven't tested this yet, but even if it's 2 hits, it will still be quite a challenging game and quite a strategic game. So we're going to go with this for now. And also, sand can be mined pretty plentifully out of the desert, so it's pretty easy to get your hands on. So even if we lose, you know, all of the blocks in here, it's not going to be a problem to get a whole nother stack or a whole nother rucksack's worth to refill this thing. So once we've done this, like I said, we're going to go up and we're going to go in a layer, pull the radius of the next hoop in by 2 blocks and build a new ring. We're going to do this with alabaster, so we're going to alternate back and forth between the, sorry, windstone. I said alabaster again. Now, alabaster was the name of the stone in Alpha 3, which we're not going to use for this. So we're going to do the next ring up in windstone and then kind of back and forth with windstone and coral stone until we hit the top layer. So we're almost done here. And there we go. So this is the first layer in place. Unfortunately, you can't really see it on the map because there is, of course, that island above us, which is going to make it exceptionally difficult to see all of this build.
So I'm going to swap myself over to the windstone and I'm going to build the next layer up, and I will see you in a bit.
And there we go, that's the bulk of the build done right there. I was going to show you each layer, but I realized I was just going to be saying the same thing over and over again, so there's just kind of no point. I've got some scaffolding, well, rough scaffolding here at the front just to let me get up between the layers. As you can see, these first three all have sand in them, and then the top one doesn't, because this is the entry layer. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put a little bit of windstone up here. Again, just to kind of fill this in a little bit and give people a little bit more space to stand on when they're about to jump into this thing. Because otherwise it could get kind of hard to do. So there we go. And now there's room to kind of wander around up here, and then you can jump down in to start the game. So the very next thing we need to do is actually build some stairs up here. I don't have much room at the back, which is where I want the stairs to go. I want them to kind of curve from the front up, kind of come up the side here, and then have a large platform at the back that you can walk across. However, where the edge of this bottom ring here is, this is the very edge of the map. If I try and go any further, I get bounced back, so I don't have a lot of room to play with this thing. So another thing I also kind of want to do is put a little bit of light around here so that players can see what it is they're doing when they're playing. That's going to be quite important. I'm going to pull those down. I'm going to do each level as well, I think. Just put a little bit of light on each level. I mean, most people would probably try and play sometime during the day because it makes it a lot easier, but just in case a match runs a little long, need to have some form of light around here somewhere. And there we go, that should be all nice and lit up. So I'm actually going to go back down and remove all of these scaffolding blocks along the way, and then we'll see what I can do about getting a staircase built up to the back here. I'll be right back.
So just a quick update, I've put in some support structures now so that the rings don't look like they're floating around. I'm not quite sure if I like this or not. I'm probably going to leave it there for the moment and think about it between episodes. I might remove it, try putting them in a couple of different locations, that type of thing, but I really do need to put the staircase in to really get a sense of how this whole thing looks. But tell me in the comments below, what do you reckon about the support structures on the game? It does make it look a lot sturdier and more solid, which was really nice, but I don't know, still not 100% convinced with that. Alright, so I'm going to start building up a set of staircases from probably this ground level here, I reckon, going out and around. So I'm going to grab enough brownstone to get all that started, and I will be back in a minute. And there we have it. The game is all done and dusted. I am going to have to grab some stone pickaxes and put them in here so that people can actually play the game. But for now, I think it looks pretty damn good. So up at the top here, like I said, this is where we'll start from. So I'm going to drop 4 sets of stone pickaxes around at the top. And look at that, you've got a pretty good view off the top of this thing as well. Eventually I'm going to have to clear up all of the outside lines that you can see. Those are just border markers, so that is the furthest you can get on the island. Let's see our build limit. Then we're probably going to fill in pretty much all of this build limit with mini games and other awesome little bits and pieces. So once again, for now, this game is done. So I think that's all I have time for this episode. Next episode, we are going to start building a few more mini games. We'll also probably start work on my home island as well. Get that kind of cleared out, leveled off a little bit, and we can start building a brand new biome for ourselves. And that looks really cool from back here. Look at that. Okay, I will see you next time.